Hi everybody, I'm Abby Mago from Fire Island Sales and Rentals. I've been getting tons of questions about what's going on in the market, so I wanted to just take a few minutes to talk to you guys about that today. So if you go by what's in the newspaper, if you're reading the headlines, you would absolutely think that the real estate market is just in the toilet, right? You hear all this talk about inflation, all this talk about corporate layoffs and recession, and lots of scary headlines, right? Because that's what the media does. Their job is to give you a strong headline that's going to give you a reason to click on that article. But if you really take a look at the reality of the real estate market on Fire Island, that is definitely not the case. Certainly, the insane frenzy of the COVID days is behind us, but we're still in a remarkably strong and really a stable market. We have extremely low levels of inventory. We probably have maybe a quarter, if not even less, inventory on the market now than we did in the pre-COVID days. And that has kept prices really quite strong. We're not seeing that very vertical, super steep pace of price growth anymore. But prices have really not gone down. They are staying stable, if not increasing very sort of slowly. So if you are a homeowner and you've been kicking around the idea of selling but have been hesitant to go ahead and pull the trigger because of all the things you're reading in the news and all the scary stuff out there, I would tell you that that's not really something you should be concerned about. It really is a great time to sell because there is such limited inventory on the market. We do have a lot of buyers who are looking and they're actively trying to find what they want, but they're just not coming up with what they want to buy because there just aren't a lot of choices out there right now. Inventory levels are so low that there's not really a fit for every buyer out there looking. So we do have quite a bit of buyer activity, but because of inventory levels, there are fewer deals happening. So if you are a homeowner, that's something I would definitely take into consideration. And we do expect this spring selling season will be very strong. And if you are a buyer or a potential buyer, if you've been watching the market and have been sort of hesitant to step in, I'm sure you're thinking about where interest rates are if you are somebody who's looking to purchase with a mortgage. There's a lot of talk about how high interest rates are right now, and certainly they are much higher than they were in these last couple of years leading up to today. But if you look at it at a historical context, the average interest rate that we've seen over the last 30 or so years since the 1970s, the average interest rate was at 7.75%. Right now, we're certainly higher than we've been for the past couple of years, but if your loan is pricing in the sixes, you're still below average over the long term. So you have to look at it with a little bit of perspective. I'm sure it hurts when you're comparing, if you could have gotten 2 something or 3 something a couple of years ago, but to think that, you're not going to buy because the interest rate is high is not really looking at it from a full perspective. Of course, that's going to affect your purchasing power and what you can get for your buck. But if this is something that you want to do and you want to secure a home on Fire Island, waiting is probably not the best idea. I do think that prices are going to continue to climb. I definitely don't think that it's going to be at that rapid rate that we saw so drastically over the past few years. But because of the inventory situation, prices are not dropping. So if anything, they're staying stable, which is part of why having an asset on Fire Island is such a great thing, because it is a very safe and stable place to put your money. That's about it for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to talking to all of you soon.